Just wrapping up the national anthem here in Farrell Center on the campus of Baylor University, #1 team in the country. They've held that position for an equally long amount of time as any team in the last 5 years in college basketball. To hold it another week, they will have to beat Kansas. They'll have to sweep Kansas in the regular season. Earlier this year, won in Allen Fieldhouse for the first time in program history. And what Scott Drew has done, twice taking the Bears to #1 in the polls, twice taking them to the Elite Eight, has been a remarkable renovation project. Now, as we see the lights go out and the introductions are about to start, Baylor and Kansas. Seth, we'll start with you. Who wins and by how many? Who and by how many?
Kansas by 4. You got to remember that first game. Devon Dotson wasn't completely healthy. They need a healthy Devon Dotson. I like the changes that Bill Self has made. He's playing Dotson more off the ball. He's playing a small lineup, more floor gamers, more shot makers, which will open up as a bookie. I think they have a toughness and an intensity about them. I think they need to make a statement. This is the opportunity to make that statement. Every coach wants a cause. This is a cause for Bill Self.
Who and by how many, Fonz?
I have Kansas by 2. Maceo Teague has had some issues with his shooting hand with his right wrist. Baylor has to be at full strength in order to beat this Kansas team. I don't think Baylor can beat them without the healthy Maceo Teague.
Poor old Baylor.
Really important.
Poor old Baylor. #1 in the nation. Neither one of you guys think that they get it done today.
Yes.
This sold-out arena, tickets going for more than 900 a pop, close to 1,000 students left in the concourse out here. My opinion?
What you got?
Who and by how many?
And by how many?
That old Baylor line, flinging the green and gold afar. Sick 'em Bears by a deuce. Which will be just enough. Shulman and Villas will have the call, guys.
Reese, thank you, and welcome to Saturday Primetime, presented by H&R Block. The Farrell Center is as loud as any building we've been in all season. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. It may be 11 in the morning here locally. There is not one sleepy person, not one sleepy student here in this building right now for this enormously important game between #3 Kansas and #1 Baylor. In what many could say to this point of the season is the game of the year.
Ladies and gents, start your engines, because it's going to be a photo finish in the Big 12. #1 Baylor is cruising past the competition in record speed.
A 23-game win streak.
They are relentless.
Nobody ever thought we would make it. But they've got #3 Kansas in their rearview, ready to make a pass.
The reason we're not #1 is because Baylor beat us on our home court, and we get a chance to get them back.
We're one lap closer to a victor. Who you got?
This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. And is it ever here between Kansas and Baylor? The Bears have lost only once all season. They're undefeated in Big 12 play. They've won 23 in a row. Their only loss was way back in November in Alaska to Washington in the closing minutes. Kansas is second in the Big 12, ranked 3rd in the nation. Their only loss in league play was to Baylor at Allen Fieldhouse on January 11th. Hi, everybody, and welcome to what should be a sensational start to the college basketball day. Dan Shulman and Jay Billis. The Baylor Bears. Who are they? How good are they? How did they get to be #1? Well, winning 23 in a row will do that for you after that loss to Washington that we told you about in Alaska back in November. They're an outstanding defensive team. They've allowed only 58 points per game. That would be a Big 12 record in a league that goes back 24 years. And 5 straight weeks is #1. One of 7 teams to be #1. They've held on to it longer than anybody else this season. So tell us about these Baylor Bears.
Well, Baylor's got 4 elite playmaking guards on the perimeter on the offensive end, and they've got 3 of the best individual defenders in the country, guys that are going to be vying for the National Defensive Player of the Year. And they've got unselfish big guys. They offensive rebound, they stifle you, they switch everything, and they can switch to take things away. This is an outstanding team that's capable of winning the national championship.
And their coach Scott Drew is standing by with Holly Rowe.
With all the excitement and commotion leading up to this game, what makes you think your kids are locked in and focused for this moment?
They've been locked in all year. They're going to be locked in today, and this is a great day for Baylor basketball.
I see Maceo Teague in the starting lineup. How does that help you today?
Well, he wants to give it a go. Trainer says he can give it a go. He's a tough kid. We'll see what he can do.
Thank you, Coach.
Now the Kansas Jayhawks, again, whose only conference loss has been to Baylor. Number 3 in the nation. They've won 11 in a row since that loss to the Bears at the Fog about 6 weeks ago. Baylor beating Kansas by 12 in Lawrence in that game. It's only the second time in Kansas history they've gone on the road to play number 1. They beat K-State back in 1958, led by Will Chamberlain. What about the Jayhawks?
The best inside-outside combo in college basketball in Devon Dotson and Udoka Azubuike. The question is, can they get the ball inside to Azubuike, and can Dotson get downhill and get to the rim?
We are ready for the tip of our Sonic Blockbuster here between number 3 Kansas and number 1 Baylor, and the Bears with the first possession of the afternoon.
Marcus Garrett, the outstanding defender for Kansas, on Jared Butler to start.
Maceo Teague, sore wrist. How about that? In the starting lineup, Scott Drew says he wants to give it a go, and he just did.
Teague missed the last 2 ball games after getting injured against Texas, but he'd been averaging 17 a game the 4 games prior to that. And he looks like he is ready to go. Practiced yesterday and did a good job.
Devon Dotson, the leading scorer in the Big 12, misses a 3. And now it bounces into the other end for Freddie Gillespie. And what a start for the Bears.
Freddie Gillespie is an unsung hero, not only on this team, but nationally. You give him a 15-footer, and he can make it.
You know the story. Former D3 player, transferred here, red-shirted, moved into the starting lineup last year. Now a Big 12 star for Baylor. Garrett into Azubuike for the slam as Kansas breaks the ice.
Well, Kansas got a switch. They were able to get Jared Butler switched off onto Udoka Azubuike, and then they moved the defense and got downhill into the lane. You get 2 feet in the paint as a driver, you can lob it up to Azubuike.
Baylor kept Azubuike in check in game 1, 6 points. He did have 11 rebounds and 7 blocks, but only 6 points on the afternoon.
Well, that was back when Kansas was playing 2 big guys at the same time. So they didn't have to, Baylor didn't have to guard David McCormick. They just went on Udoka Azubuike and double-teamed him. Take a look at Azubuike here. He's got Butler on him. He's going to switch off back to get Gillespie, and as soon as they get inside, they're able to lob it up over the top because he can get inside position.
Mitchell with a drive. Azubuike the rejection, but Gillespie with an offensive rebound. And a shot clock violation against the Bears.
Azubuike blocked 7 shots the first time these 2 teams played in Allen Fieldhouse. And he is not just a rim protector, he is a lane protector. That's not a play he would have made last year. His mobility allowed him to get from the free throw line all the way back down to the rim.
Yeah, as KU fans know, fans around the country, about 30 pounds lighter than he was a year ago, and he has had an outstanding season at the defensive end.
And you're a good 30 pounds lighter. You look great.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And now I think they're just checking on the clock to make sure the game clock is right after the shot clock violation. Oh, now we're actually being told they're checking if the ball hit the rim to see if it should have been ruled a shot clock violation. It did not there.
It did there, but he couldn't let it go.
That was after, right. Baylor 5, Kansas 2 in the early going. Dan Shulman, Jay Billis, Holly Rowe, number 3, number 1. And so much potentially on the line today. Big 12 regular season championship will be impacted by this game and maybe the number 1 overall CJ in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think both these teams are going to be number 1 seeds. The number 1 overall may still be up for debate.
And as you said, these 2 teams could meet again in Kansas City in the Big 12 tournament and maybe in Atlanta in the Final Four as well.
Yeah, they're going to play at least 3 times, possibly 4.
A steal. Trying to get into Azubuike, they couldn't. Now Gillespie on the baseline, left it short.
If you're going to throw the ball up to Udoka Azubuike, you have to throw it up. And Mark Vidal was right in front. He's one of the best defenders in the country, and if you don't throw it high enough, he's going to be able to take it away.
There are so many good defenders on both teams here. These are two of the best defensive teams in the country, and Vidal certainly is on the list of one of the best defensive players in college basketball this year.
Boy, what a closeout by Jared Butler to get to Isaiah Moss in that corner.
Garrett got the switch, gets around Vidal and lays it in.
Couldn't help off Isaiah Moss on the ball side corner, and Marcus Garrett able to get all the way to the basket. He's really a point guard out there. Handling the ball more, that allows Devon Dotson, the leading scorer in the Big 12, to play off the ball more often.
And it's amazing. You know he wants to drive, and you know he wants to drive right, and he still gets it done.
Take a look at Marcus Garrett coming off the ball screen and then just using really good pace. He got Mark Vidal on him, was able to turn the corner. Vidal couldn't stay in front of him, and he's able to get all the way to the rim. Good use of the right hand to shield off Vidal so he couldn't get up and block that shot. He got the ball up quickly. And, you know, Marcus Garrett has been playing very well offensively. And he's the leading assist guy on this Kansas team, almost 5 per game. He's coming off a 24-point game in which he hit 6 threes against Oklahoma. That was a big-time performance.
Dotson refusing the screen. Left-handed layup is good, and KU goes on top.
He is so dynamic off the dribble, so quick, but he's just courageous in finishing around the basket. At his size, it's really remarkable.
Baylor, as mentioned, winning by 12 at Allen Fieldhouse 6 weeks ago. Floater too strong for Davion Mitchell, and no second opportunities for Baylor.
But how about that stop-and-go quickness that he's got? His change of pace and change of direction, Davion Mitchell, it's really fantastic. He is hard to stay in front of.
The Auburn transfer. Dotson uses the screen, looking inside for the big man, didn't get it to him. Now Abaji turns the corner. The kick to Garrett for 3.
And that's a shot that has to be hit. Whether it's Marcus Garrett, Isaiah Moss, Ochai Abaji, when Kansas is able to turn the corner and draw the defense and kick it out, you have to be able to hit that shot.
So Baylor scored the first 5. The Jayhawks have scored the last 9.
Nice job by Devon Dotson to keep Mitchell from getting the ball back. They are denying passes once it's caught.
And a Baylor turnover to take us to our first media timeout. Kansas on a 9-0 run, and Devon Dotson, the leading scorer in the Big 12, doing his part to give the Jayhawks the lead. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by H&R Block. With more ways to file, it's better with Block. And in part by the Car Hop Classic, only at Sonic. Back in Waco, let's take a look now at our Sonic Blockbuster, the top 5 teams in the nation. Baylor, Gonzaga, Kansas, San Diego State, Dayton in the rankings are 52-1 since the turn of the calendar, and the only loss was Kansas losing to Baylor at the Fog back on January 11th. It's really been, after such a chaotic, topsy-turvy season, those 5 programs have been playing outstanding basketball for many, many weeks now. Baylor winning by 12. A couple of things. As Jay mentioned, Kansas was using a different lineup then. David McCormick was starting, not the smaller lineup with Isaiah Moss. And Devon Dotson missed a little bit of time in that game and played through some hip discomfort as well. He is clearly 100% now. For Baylor, as mentioned, Maceo Teague did start with the sore wrist on the bench right now. He knocked down the 3 in the first possession of the game as we get more from Holly Rowe.
Well, in that last timeout, Scott Drew talked to his team about turnovers. He said in 40 minutes, the last time we played Kansas, we had only 5. They have 3 early turnovers. He said, calm down, make the extra pass, move the ball, but be calm with the ball. He wants his kids to settle in right now.
Yeah, it's not just with the ball. They're cuts. They've been stopping on cuts instead of making full cuts. If you cut backdoor, go. You can't stop on a backdoor cut.
And look at this defense by Marcus Garrett. The possession arrow gives it to Kansas. That's turnover number 4 for the Bears.
Well, Kansas is an outstanding defensive team as well that doesn't get near the credit for it. They're the number 2 defense in this league, right behind Baylor, and they are right next to them. They're only giving up 58 points per game in conference, and they did a very good job on that last possession of icing the ball screen, downing it, keeping it on one side, on the right side. That ultimately helped lead to the turnover.
To back up Holly's point about the turnovers, Baylor 5 in the first team, Kansas 14, and even more stark with a points off turnovers. Baylor won that battle 21-2 in that game. Abaji misses the jumper.
Not the shot that Kansas wanted. Baji can make that shot, but they want to get into the lane, put more pressure on this Baylor defense.
Devontae Bandu to Mark Vital, and then the slam inside for Tristan Clark, who has come off the bench. The star from a year ago, knee surgery, has not gotten back to what he was, but he looked awfully good right there.
Well, he's giving quality minutes off the bench. He's accepted his role. Wide open was Marcus Garrett, and Baylor's going to give him that shot. Mark Vital, when he made that beautiful pass down underneath, thought he might have gotten away with a hop early, but did a great job of going right underneath the shoulder of the defender. And then a beautiful pocket pass that led to it. Just really good team basketball. This Baylor team is very connected on both ends of the floor, and they play with a lot of poise, especially at the end of the clock.
If somebody said to you, hey, I've never seen Mark Vital play, describe him to me as a player, how do you describe Mark Vital?
Have you ever seen Craig Ironhead Hayward play football? That's the way it is. But he's, they call him Baby Rico. He's a lot like Rico Gathers in a way. He's an excellent offensive rebounder, but he's also an outstanding defender, one of the 5 best defenders in the country. Can guard literally 1 through 5. He can switch off on anyone, really, really strong, and can move his feet and stay in front. He's guarding Marcus Garrett right now, and he can switch off on Dotson if he has to.
6'5", 230, and does so many different things for the Bears. Dotson gets a screen. Dotson buries a 3.
All of Kansas's ball screens are coming in the middle of the floor. And that's putting a lot of pressure on this Baylor defense because the ball handler can go either way and choose either side of the floor. And if you're gonna have to step up on Devon Dotson. If it's gonna be Azubuike and Dotson in that 2-man game ball screen up top, Dotson can pick them apart. He's coming off a game in which he hit 6 threes.
Jared Butler, better than 15 points per game for Baylor, their leading scorer.
Too much dribbling right now for Baylor.
Mitchell, tough one from the corner off the top of the backboard. And it'll be Kansas ball.
Boy, the dribble to pass ratio on that possession was easily 10-1 for Baylor, and that's not going to work. Here's the ball screen. Tristan Clark not up on that. He's playing back in the lane to play the roll. And that meant that Devon Dotson was going to be wide open once Azubuike picked off his defender. And Azubuike is going to pick off his defender.
And the big fella will get a breather right now. David McCormick, who instead of starting alongside Azubuike, as he did earlier in the season, is now really the backup at the 5 for Azubuike. He comes in, and Freddie Gillespie has returned for Baylor.
And that was a great adjustment by Bill Self to go 4 around 1 instead of playing the 2 bigs. They're both good players, but they don't complement one another when they're playing together as well as he would like.
Matthew Meyer, a sophomore from Austin, checks in for the first time for the Bears. There's the McCormick screen. Garrett inside, lays it in with a left hand, and the lead grows for the Jayhawks.
Kansas is running a weave out top, and Baylor is switching all those exchanges. And Kansas is just waiting for the time that they get the matchup they want and then drive it. Freddie Gillespie was on Marcus Garrett. Marcus Garrett decided to drive it. And there's a really smart play by Marcus Garrett to get all the way to the rim off Gillespie's guarding.
Christian Brown, freshman from Burlington, Kansas, on the floor for the first time for Kansas, and a much-needed bucket, and a 3 at that for Jared Butler.
Well, McCormick's got to be up there to help on that ball screen. That was just too easy to get Jared Butler wide open. You give him that shot, he'll make it all day.
What an unbelievable scene here at the Farrell Center today. Again, an 11 a.m. local start time. Everybody here early for game day and having the time of their lives right now. Good defense there by Gillespie, staying in front of Garrett. Dotson feeling it. And Gillespie just goes right into the middle of the scrum and comes out with the ball.
He is a great rebounder.
Meyer gets a great feed from Butler.
Matthew Meyer adds a little bit of a different dimension to this team because he can stretch the defense and handle the ball at 6'9".
Baji rises up for a 3.
How about that rebound?
And the putback for McCormick.
Boy, both McCormick and Gillespie have been going after the ball with 2 hands. That was a big-time offensive rebound.
This is a big-time college basketball game. 9 minutes and change in. Kansas here in Waco up by 4. Butler, Gillespie, wide open in the corner, T. And Garrett with a weak side rebound.
This is a good shooting Baylor team, not a great shooting Baylor team. And T, coming off the injury, he's not going to get any more time to shoot that ball. I mean, you don't get that much time to shoot in a horse game.
Dotson playing very aggressively at the offensive end. He gets fouled to take us to immediate timeout.
Jared Butler with a big-time three coming off the ball screen. The defense wasn't there to help out, and he is able to knock it down, averaging over 21 his last 2 ball games. And when we come back, 94 feet with the entire Baylor team. What an honor.
94 feet with the #1 Baylor Bears, brought to you by Smile Direct Club. All right, who is the funniest guy on the team?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Hard one. Freddie.
We only got 94 feet. All right, who is the least funny? Gets no laughs at all. Jackson. Best dancer on the Baylor team.
I gotta be. We got 94.
Jordan. Worst dancer. Who picks up concepts the fastest? All right, who needs to be told twice? All right, if we get name, image, and likeness, we can all get our teeth fixed. That's 94 feet with the Baylor Bears.
Outstanding, as has been the tenure for Scott Drew here in Waco. This is one of my favorite college basketball stats of all time, and it gets better every week. Before Scott Drew took this job 17 years ago, the Bears had been ranked for 2 games in program history. With Scott Drew, this is number 237, and counting, obviously. The funny part, too, about the 94 feet, when you ask, like, the nice questions, who's the best or who's the funniest, you know, they hemmed and hawed a little bit. When you said who's the worst something or other, they knew right away who to jump on.
Well, especially when you said who needs to be told twice. Right. They said, oh, Matthew Meyer did.
Matthew Meyer.
Yesterday in practice, they ran a little play called twirl, and Meyer took like a 22-footer, and Scott Drew told him, well, you know, Matthew, that's not your shot. And he's like, not my shot. I was open, and I shoot 40%. And everybody started laughing. I mean, the guy's just got a great personality. And how about that mop?
Putting us to shame with that shaggy do as he knocks it down to bring the Bears back within 1.
1-2-2, 3/4 court pressure right now from Baylor. Almost a nuisance press so that Kansas just can't walk into their offense.
Garrett up top, pass of Buki.
If you help up and don't stay connected to Udoka Azubuike, they're just going to lob that thing to the rim. And good luck trying to stop that. That is brutal. How'd you like to have to guard that?
There's a reason he shoots 73% from the field, by far the best in the country. Meyer for 3. Well, you may have to tell him the odd thing twice, according to his teammates, but he knows what to do from beyond the arc.
Dan, he was open, and he shoots 40%.
Now he tips it away, and it's Baylor ball. How about Matthew Meyer?
Meyer is such a wild card because he has such a quick trigger, and he is conscience-free. He does not even think twice nor hesitate. And he had a defender right on him, then able to keep his eyes on that ball, read the eyes of the passer, and move on the flight of the ball to knock it away. Just a big-time play by Matthew Meyer.
Averages 11 minutes per game, 4 points per game. He already has 8 for the Bears, and it's the last 8 points the Bears have scored.
They have 13 points and 8 rebounds against West Virginia. Only played 16, 17 minutes in that one. He's instant offense.
Could get around Garrett on that attempt.
Well, this is the home of the microwave.
That's true. And Myers coming off the bench looking like Vinnie Johnson with 8 quick points to tie the game at 18.
Kansas needs to get back to driving the ball to get into the lane. They can't settle.
Dotson got another big screen from Azubuike, who's begging for the ball down low. Surrounded, and still muscles it up and in.
And muscled it through contact. That's the big difference in Udoka Azubuike this year as opposed to last year. I think last year, once he wasn't able to get it initially, he probably wouldn't have been able to finish that play. This year, it's an automatic.
Gillespie the screen for Meyer.
How he handles it.
Moss knocks it away. Still Baylor ball. Meyer's playing with a ton of confidence.
Conscience-free is the way Matthew Meyer plays, but he's a very good player. Butler comes over from the weak side. He can't come over and just do a flyby. If he's going to come over, go after the ball with two hands. You've got to go in. The problem is you can catch one in the chops, and then you're going to need Smile Direct Club.
I think so. There are just so few guys who can match up size-wise with Azubuike. Gillespie misses the jumper. Vital does what he does best, getting an offensive rebound.
And if he didn't get it, Gillespie is going to get it because Azubuike didn't block him out. Gillespie's very quick once he hits the floor again.
Baylor gets better than 35% of their misses, 5th best percentage in the country. Meyer feeling it. And Garrett down with the rebound. Vital hit the deck hard. Kansas in transition. Can they take advantage?
Good job by Mitchell to stay in front of Dotson.
Isaiah Moss, grad transfer, Iowa, doing what he is in there to do. Knocking down a long jumper, but he did have a toe on the line. It's a 2.
He's going to be the difference in this game. If he plays well and knocks shots down, Kansas is going to have a great opportunity to win. If he doesn't, it's going to be an advantage for Baylor. So Moss had 15 points against Baylor last time these two teams played. He's got to hit shots.
Devontae Bandu off the bench misses a jumper, and Vital with another offensive rebound, and he'll be at the free throw line when we come back. What great energy, what a great start to this game between number 3 and number 1. The big fella in the middle, Udoka Azubuike, slamming it down time after time for the Jayhawks. Matthew Meyer countering for the Bears from deep.
I'm open and I shoot 40%.
Aerial coverage is brought to you by State Farm. Talk to a State Farm agent today. Magnolia Silos here in Waco, Texas. Home of the Baylor Bears, and also the home of Chip and Joanna Gaines and Company, the stars of the hit show Fixer Upper on HGTV. They were out there. Chip's great at everything he does, but the half-court shot, he certainly had his opportunities, but he gave it a great effort today. They are such great ambassadors for the city, and RG3 getting an enormous ovation. They just put him up on the video scoreboard here during the timeout. People going nuts for him as we get back to the action in this huge game between Kansas and Baylor.
Mark Vital on the free throw line right now. I'm not sure you're going to find, unless it's Freddie Gillespie, a more unselfish, do the dirty work player than Mark Vital. He plays hard every possession. He rebounds. You don't have to run anything for him. He never complains. These guards, the Baylor guards, hopefully they have an understanding of how great their big guys are to play with.
Wow, and there's Vital with a block, but the putback and a foul for Azubuike.
Devontae Bandu had to just put two hands right into the side of Azubuike because he was going to score, and there was no way to stop it. Again, Marcus Garrett getting past Vital. Clark comes over, and that cleared everybody out, so the offensive rebound was really easy for Azubuike and got fouled and completed the play.
Marcus Garrett, one of the great drivers in the country, just seems to always have a way to get to the rim. Let's check in with Holly.
And exactly what you just said with Marcus Garrett is what Bill Self was asking for in that last timeout. He said, we've got to get more downhill. He wants them challenging this Baylor defense, really taking it to the rim because they've got Doak inside that can clean it up. The other point of emphasis was offensive rebounds. Right now, Kansas with 3, Baylor with just 2. They're so good at the offensive rebounds. That says something that Kansas is keeping them off that glass.
All right, thank you, Holly. Marcus Garrett, Jay, just so much more of an aggressive offensive player than a couple of years ago, don't you think?
Well, yeah, and this is without being much of a threat to knock down a 3, and still he's able to get into the lane, get his shoulders past defenders. I mean, he drove right past Mark Vital, who's one of the best defenders in the country. And he's a good finisher as well. Doesn't need a hit.
Oh, Vital over the top. The assist to Mitchell.
If you turn your head guarding Vital in the corner, he is just going to cut hard to the basket, and they're just going to throw it up there. Just beautifully executed. You have to stay between your man and the basket, especially when it's Vital, because he is not that much of a threat to shoot it. That's him in the corner. Now watch as Mitchell gets from one side of the floor to the other. Christian Brown was worried about the ball instead of being concerned about staying in between Vital and the bucket.
Free throws an issue for Vital, just 44%. He's a native of Lake Charles, Louisiana. and grew up a Baylor fan, in part due to former Bears who are also Louisiana natives, and Tweety Carter and Rico Gathers always wanted to come play for the Baylor Bears. Dotson is called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, obvious call, and that was just trying to drive one side of the floor. You know, the ball started up top, got to the right side, and Kansas didn't make the defense move. And if you're not going to make this defense move, you know, Davion Mitchell is just too good of a defender to be able to take him off of one pass. That's just not going to happen.
And Dotson goes to the bench with his second foul. Ochai Agbaji back into the game for the Jayhawks. Corner three. And a great look there for Butler won't go down. It's out of bounds to Kansas. More action coming your way later on today on ESPN at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. An ACC battle between North Carolina and Louisville. The Cardinals snap their two-game losing streak with a resounding win over Syracuse midweek. And then to Rupp Arena at 6 Eastern as Kentucky hosts Florida. Both games available on ESPN and the ESPN app. Isaiah Moss extends the lead for Kansas.
Took the ball one way and then threw it back to Isaiah Moss, who is ready to shoot when the ball arrived. He is such a key to this game for Kansas, especially with Dotson out of the game. Kansas trying to keep that ball screen to one side, that side ball screen.
Teague again missed the last couple of games with a right wrist injury. Started today, made a three. Forces it up, doesn't get it.
Just bad offense by Baylor. And he kept it on one side of the floor. That was nothing but pounding the ball into the deck and trying to make an individual move.
Brown can shoot it. Back to Garrett.
What a matchup of great defenders in Garrett and Davion Mitchell.
Both of them are among the 15 mid-season candidates for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year award. Mark Vital is as well, so 3 of the 15 are in this game.
And you could have had Freddie Gillespie on that list as well. Boy, Tristan Clark has given some really good minutes off the bench to Scott Drew and Baylor.
Well, now Bill Self's got a bit of a dilemma and not much of a solution because Marcus Garrett just picked up his second. And it looks like Dotson is going to check back in. Garrett will sit down.
Both Dotson and Garrett are experienced players. They've played a lot of minutes in the Big 12. And they just have to be smart. Pick their spots and don't put yourself at unnecessary risk to pick up another foul. You can't afford to have them on the bench in a game this big.
Some points being left at the line right now by the Bears.
Azubuike has not touched the ball in a while. And you have to think that Kansas is going to look to try to get it to him.
Switch. Agbaji over the top to him. Got Gillespie in the air and finished strong.
They are attacking the switch when Gillespie switches out on a guard.
And now a foul against Kansas. Both Moss and Azubuike were there. It'll be Azubuike called for the foul. But what the big fella's doing at the other end, playing a ton of minutes, making moves and slamming it home, giving Kansas a lead. Well, because of the early start time of this game, game day took place right before the game. And as you can imagine, an unbelievable environment here in Waco as the Bears host the basketball version of game day for just the second time. Coming up with a Jeep halftime report, Seth and Fonz will be with Reese to look at the first half, a preview of Wilder Fury 2, and then a preview of the 76ers and the Bucks as well. Speaking of Seth and Fonz, they're with Holly.
Okay, Kansas offense has been dominant. Why?
Well, the middle ball screen has been terrific. They've been able to identify and find Gillespie, be able to get to the basket. When he steps up, they've been able to throw it over the top to Udoka Azubuike.
All right, Seth, this Kansas offense is different than the last time Baylor saw them. How so?
Yeah, they played that 4-round one. They played with a small ball and having 4 gamers on the floor. 4 guys that can make a play, make a shot, and take the entry pass on that pass to the post. That's been the difference.
Yeah, those 4 guards matching up with the 4 Baylor guards, that's been big. We'll hear more from them at the half.
All right, Holly, thank you. Jay, how do the Bears counter? What does Baylor need to do better to get back in this and maybe take the lead?
Well, they have to run better offense. I mean, right now, Kansas shooting 60% from the field. Really, that was their first poor possession offensively. because Davion Mitchell did such a good job on Devon Dotson.
Well, they are flying down the court in transition, and Vital will be going back to the free throw line.
And that was all because of their defense. They forced a shot clock shot at the end and were able to get out in transition as a result. But that's been few and far between for Baylor. They've not gotten much off their defense. And then their offense has been too much dribble, not enough pass, not enough move. And you got to give Kansas credit. You know, they've been doing a good job of icing ball screens, keeping them on one side when they have side ball screens. I think it's much better when Baylor runs ball screens in the slot, in the middle of the floor. That's where they're really good.
Tonight, it's the long-anticipated rematch between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Wilder, who's the WBC title holder, will take on Fury in the main event at 9 o'clock Eastern Time from Las Vegas, live on a pay-per-view and ESPN Plus. The first fight ended in a split draw. So Wilder, who is the champion, retained the belt. Much controversy, much anticipation. These are two large men, Wilder and Fury. Wilder's 6'7", 230. Fury's 6'9", 270, almost up in Azubuike territory. Who you got, Jay?
Fury. Because I just like to say Fury.
Fury's a great name for a boxer, don't you think?
Azubuike and Gillespie going at each other on a free throw block out, and then Gillespie wound up getting a foul with a push in the back once that shot went up and was missed. Boy, Baylor has not done a very good job from the free throw line.
They're just 4 for 9, trailing by 7, and Azubuike with his 4th dunk of the game.
That's a side ball screen, and you're worried about the ball and being able to turn the corner and get to the basket, and then you just throw it up to Azubuike because there's nobody in the corner to pick him up.
Look at Vital go after the ball. Got it the first time. Mitchell missed the 3, and he almost ripped it away from Azubuike the second time. Abachi trying to turn the corner, and he's fouled by Vital.
Take a look at Azubuike here. He is going to set. He's going to set the ball screen right there. And then when Freddie Gillespie has to go over and try to take care of the ball, you got to come over from the weak side. But if you do, you're going against a truck going downhill. I mean, Vital's got to get over there earlier, but you're asking a lot when you throw that ball up to go stop that. Azubuike is just a force after he sets that ball screen and rolls hard to the basket. He just sweeps everything with him.
And as you mentioned off the top, the weight that he's lost in the last year, down about 30 pounds. He can make more plays at both ends of the court, and he can stay on the court for longer. He's played over 14 minutes in the first half.
Yeah, that mobility is just a huge factor. He's a different player, and his feet are really good.
Abachi, and it'll be a foul going against Kansas to turn it over.
Yeah, Ochai Abachi just has to be stronger with the ball. He's a real key for Kansas, not just in this game, but for Kansas's ability to win a national championship. You know, he's such a talented player, but he's never in his career, except for a little bit in high school, been the man. And they're asking him to step up and be a little bit more aggressive and look to score. And he bobbled that ball a little bit, but Davion Mitchell, he stays in front. He's so active for the ball. He goes after it with both hands.
67% free throw shooter knocks down the first.
Mitchell transferred in from Auburn. He's so athletic and strong. He's just it's like a fire hydrant with a head on it. Like, how are you going to get around that guy? He moves his feet so well. He's so strong.
Right behind that great backcourt. Harper and Brown at Auburn 2 years ago. Transferred in. Makes them both. Crowd back into it here in Waco.
Big 2 minutes going down the stretch. Can Baylor make a run? And can they pick up another foul on Devon Dotson?
Brown driving on Meyer. Behind the back. Switches hands. And gets the bounce. What a play by Christian Brown.
Well, he was driving Matthew Meyer. He knew he had a matchup that he could drive, but how about the ability to stop in the lane, change direction, and use the left hand?
Looked like he grabbed the shirt there of Meyer, but no call. And they were fortunate that they still got the ball after that pass. Butler. Gillespie.
What a finish by Gillespie. That's a great catch and finish off the glass. A lot of big guys would walk when confronted with that kind of pass.
Mitchell stays right in front of Dotson. No easy task.
Dotson is not going to be able to turn the corner off this kind of play. He's going to have to get it off some sort of dribble handoff or ball movement first.
Butler, baseline. Still going. Yes. Timeout, Bill Self.
Baylor showing great poise. Jared Butler with the hesitation move. Keeps the ball as he goes under the bucket and gets the finish. That's a fixer-upper.
Back here at Waco, the story of the game has been Udoka as Ibuki just dominant, Jay.
He has been a force. Setting ball screens, rolling hard to the basket, getting angles in the post, making a catch, and then playing through that contact using those great feet. And when he sets a screen, you may stay screened, but he does such a good job with angles. And that hard roll to the bucket, you throw it up, he goes after it. And he is engaged and ready to roll on both ends of the floor. 13 points, 8 rebounds. He's got at least 1 block. Only missed 1 shot.
Final minute of the first half. Kansas with the ball in the lead. Dotson and Garrett both on the floor right now, at least in the offensive end, each with a couple of fouls.
Looks like a little zone here from, oh, they're going back to man.
Shut off. Back to Dotson. 5 to shoot.
Started by Vital. He got a hit.
Moss from the corner. As Ibuki had it, but it's Baylor ball. And the lay-in climb to the bucket. Davey on Mitchell to make it a 3-point game. Seconds. Moss is blocked. And Baylor ends the first half on a run to get back within 3. The Bears scoring the last 6 points of the half and then ending the half, Jay, with a great defensive play.
Great answer and great defense to read the play. That was what Kansas loves to do, a little fade screen to get a corner 3. And it was well read by Freddie Gillespie, who got out with that 7'5" wingspan and blocked the shot. Not a very good handling of the last 2 minutes by Kansas. Excellent by Baylor.
Holly Rose with Bill Self.
Well, Coach, what did you do well to establish Udoka as Ibuki in that first half?
Well, we played well. You know, we got the ball downhill, and he had some good, strong finishes, and you know, we just got to keep him off the glass, and we kind of fell apart the last minute.
I was just going to ask you, what disappoints you about that run? You just let him get back in.
Well, what were we up 7, and we're up 3 now, so it wasn't like a long run like it was in our building, but they're good, and you got to capitalize when you get opportunities, and we didn't do that the last minute.
Thanks, Coach.
2 great teams, 2 national championship contenders, and not surprisingly, a very close, exciting game here in Waco with Kansas leading 34-31 at the half. After these messages, the Jeep halftime report with Reese Davis, Seth Greenberg, and LaFonso Ellis. This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. What a game, what a first half between Kansas and Baylor. Udoka as Ibuki, dominant at the offensive end, very good at the defensive end as well, leading the way for the Jayhawks. And how about Matthew Meyer coming off the bench for 8 lightning quick points when the Baylor Bears really needed them early. Bears finish the half on a 6-0 run to close within 3 with 20 minutes to go. Welcome back to Waco and the Farrell Center. Dan Schulman and Jay Billis. As expected, a great game between 2 teams who look like 2 of the best teams in the country.
Big-time game, and both teams so good defensively. After turning the ball over a few times early, Baylor calmed down and did a better job taking care of the ball. But, man, it's going to be important for Baylor. One, they got to start hitting their free throws. They're 6 of 11 from the free throw line. That's a big difference in the game, is their inability to knock free throws down. And they got to get Jared Butler started and some more opportunities, because he's too good of a player to only have 4 points in the first half. But they have done such a good job of defending without fouling, and didn't put Kansas on the line. Kansas, I think, only had 1 free throw in the first half.
Holly Rose spoke with Scott Drew, and now she speaks to us.
Well, Coach Drew was worried about Kansas's half-court defense. He said they're one of the best defensive teams in the country, so we've got to get our points the free way, whether it's getting to the free throw line, getting points off of turnovers, or getting offensive rebounds, second chance opportunities. But he does say they have to correct Udoka Azubuike defensively. He said he's getting too many good angles on that roll to the basket off the pick and roll of the free throw line, so they've got to clean up, get a body there, and muddy those waters.
We are ready for the start of the second half of our Sonic Blockbuster. Thank you, Holly. A 3-point lead for Kansas. First possession belongs to Baylor. Little hesitation move. Floater by Mitchell. No. And Azubuike with a rebound, number 9.
Mitchell has really struggled on the offensive end. I think that's 1 of 7 for him in this ball game. But the defensive end, he's been so good on Devon Dotson.
Again, Baylor's only loss in the Armed Forces Classic way back in November. Vital called for the foul. Second game of the year to Washington in a game that you and I did, and the Bears led for 37 minutes before Washington won it late. They've won 23 in a row since. That is the longest winning streak in the 24-year history of the Big 12 Conference. And right now, Scott Drew very, very unhappy with that foul call on Vital.
Well, Mark Vital is so physical, and he was physical with his body. I don't think that's what got the foul. I think it was the reach. If he had just stayed solid with his body without reaching, I don't think he would have gotten the foul.
Moss off the glass, too strong.
Got to finish that play. Really good job curling that screen. And you stay with Azubuike, that opens it up for Moss, and Moss has got to finish it.
Handoffs to Vital. He gets to the back and couldn't handle it. And then he inadvertently bumped into Garrett, and he just picked up his 3rd foul of the game.
Yeah, I don't know that he inadvertently did it because Garrett was about to take that ball the other way. That foul was actually, I mean, I know it's his 3rd, but that saved the basket. Just not able to catch it. And then Vital is so strong. He wanted to impede Marcus Garrett there, and that saved the basket by doing so.
So they lose the physicality and rebounding of Vital. They bring in the long-range shooting of Meyer. Moss driving again, and this time he does finish it.
Able to turn that corner and so concerned about Azubuike on the roll. That allows Moss to get all the way to the basket. And it's a lot different deal going up against Matthew Meyer going to the basket. He really wanted to go after that matchup.
If Baylor wins, they're 2 games up on Kansas, 4 games to go in the Big 12 standings. If Kansas wins, the 2 teams are tied. Meyer from the corner misses the 3.
Good job running the floor by Isaiah Moss down the left corner.
And Garrett up top to Azubuike. He's getting some great feeds and is finishing everything for the Jayhawks.
And give credit to Kansas for running the floor. You ran the floor and flattened out that defense. That opened it up for Azubuike.
The assist to Marcus Garrett, 15 already for Azubuike in West Lafayette. Also, 9 o'clock tonight, Oregon at Arizona. Huge game in the Pac-12. And then don't sleep on this game late tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2. Gonzaga is at BYU. That should be a fascinating game. The Zags figured to get all they can handle from BYU.
BYU, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. Jake Toolson, one of the best shot makers that you're going to find.
Great shot maker right there, Jared Butler.
Jared Butler had 22 points against Kansas in the first game. He put up 22 against Villanova. His last 2 games when Macio Teague was out, Jared Butler averaged close to 22 points a game, and another great drive by Isaiah Moss. He's been a difference maker in this game. And we identified before the game that Moss and Agbaji were going to have good games. Agbaji has had a good game defensively. He has not scored, but Isaiah Moss has really given good minutes and good offense to Kansas.
Runner by Butler not there. Tip no good as he followed his own miss, and back comes Dotson.
Great job by Marcus Garrett to knock that essentially away from Vital. Very few offensive rebound opportunities in this ball game for Baylor. Baylor usually gets about 37-38% of their misses. That's 5th in the country. And Kansas has done a great job. Their first shot defense has been excellent, and they've not allowed second shots.
Foul on Tristan Clark, who was one-on-one with Azubuike down low. Baylor has not had an answer today for Udoka Azubuike. Now the double comes. And this time they get a stop.
Davion Mitchell did a nice job of going after the ball. He went after it with 2 hands. You can't just slap at that thing. You got to go after it.
Well, Garrett has been sensational defensively.
Every game he is. Never takes a play off.
Butler. And Garrett forced him into a tough shot.
And forced him to finish that shot through contact. Wasn't able to do it.
Talked to Bill Self about Marcus Garrett. He says no matter the game, the lineup, the situation, he says, I just don't like taking a guy off the floor. We need him in there.
He's just too valuable. Handles, passes, defends, rebounds, and scores. And catches crazy passes. Well, that was almost a foul for Dotson.
And in transition, the lay-in for T.
Well, Marcus Garrett didn't want to give up on the play, but he would have been better off letting that ball go out of bounds. Then it's 5-on-5. Baylor able to get an easy basket in transition as a result of that turnover. But Dotson cannot get around Davion Mitchell.
The defending we have seen in this game is amazing. How guys are able to stay in front of lightning-quick offensive players.
Good pass ahead by Mitchell.
Butler fouled by Garrett. Kansas by 5 here in Waco. To the top spot of the rankings for the last 5 weeks. Both of these teams, Baylor and Kansas, appear to be not only #1 seeds, but secure on the top line as well. Joey Brackets has Baylor, Kansas, joined by Gonzaga and San Diego State right now as the 4 #1 seeds. Do you think, barring the unforeseen, let's say neither of these 2 teams loses to anybody other than each other, are they both #1 seeds?
Yes. Both Kansas and Baylor are #1 seeds without question. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of movement on the 1 seed line, honestly. I think we're almost baked in. Really nice play to get the ball to the elbow to Christian Braun. Just a little give and go. Defender turns his head, and all of a sudden, Devon Dotson is at the basket.
He had been held in check offensively for a while since the early minutes of the game, but the layup makes it a 5-point lead.
Matthew Meyer got the first offensive. That's a foul on Dotson. Another one. That's his 3rd.
Number 3 on Devon Dotson, who immediately turns to Bill Self and says, don't take me out of this game.
Just not a smart play by Devon Dotson to reach in there. It's just not worth it. Anytime you reach down, if you're going to reach in to get the ball, go after it with both hands and try to take it out of his hands. I mean, there's no question that was a foul, but even just slapping down, it's going to give the appearance of a foul even if you don't get him.
And Self will lead Dotson in the game. He had a real look of pain on his face as Dotson comes up with the steal. Moss turned it over.
Meyer has been a big factor in this ballgame.
Trying to back down Brown, and Brown got a hand on that pass attempt.
Isaiah Moss was making a beeline to the basket, but Abaji didn't see him.
Dotson, ultra quick, and then Azubuike with another slam.
If you go after a block shot and you're not connected to Azubuike, he's tough enough to block out when you're connected to him. And you got 2 hands on him pushing back on him.
Look at the monster numbers, 17 and 11 already early in the second half.
Got the switch now. Mitchell going against Brown.
Stops on a dime. This is the jumper.
He's settled. Got to get to the rim. Mitchell struggled on the offensive end. He's been brilliant defensively.
Abaji around and out. Meyer the rebound. Only once under Bill Self has another program won both regular season matchups against Kansas. That was Oklahoma State a couple of years ago. Baylor won for the first time ever at Allen Fieldhouse back on the 11th of January. Bandu gives him a shooter off the bench, finds Gillespie, another rejection for Azubuike, and he comes down with the ball as well. What a game he's having.
What brilliant defense by Azubuike. That was a flop by Gillespie. The officials doing a great job not falling for that flop.
Azubuike trying to pull his way to the bucket and eventually got wrapped up by Gillespie.
Azubuike's been guarding ball screens, recovering to his man. Terrific job by Christian Braun here to come over and really help Azubuike catch up, then blocks that shot right out of the air. And Azubuike showing that, that was just a flop. Those were just 2 big guys that having a little bit of contact. If Azubuike, hits you, if he's going to hit you hard, he's going to be out of bounds.
Yeah, exactly. And again, to the point that we made earlier about his conditioning and the weight loss, he's played 24 out of 27 minutes. And all Bill Self is doing is what he did just now, taking him out, say, within a minute of immediate timeout to get him an extended rest without missing much game time. But it is remarkable how many minutes Azubuike is playing in a game of this caliber.
Flex action out of the out-of-bounds underneath.
And McCormick contributes. You know, McCormick kind of a forgotten guy. McDonald's All-American. He's a quality player. Now the backup 5, but he gives him a very useful guy off the bench when Azubuike gets a breather.
7 points, 4 rebounds a game, give or take, and not a shot blocker, but pretty good moving his feet on ball screens, and he's made 20 straight free throws. That's where he's valuable as well.
Oh, Vital got hammered going for the offensive rebound. And I think they got McCormick for it. They did.
He is so hard to block out. You can talk about it all you want to. Doing it is a totally different thing. He is relentless going after the glass. And he goes after those balls with 2 hands. McCormick just laid him out on that foul.
New baseline, nice find in the corner. T. And Vital again with an offensive rebound, and he's fouled again.
In a crowd. He had nothing but blue shirts around him, and Mark Vital was the one that came away with it with both hands.
I think they don't appreciate his effort here. Everybody got on their feet and gave him a standing ovation for an offensive rebound.
That was a big-time board. Kansas very fortunate there. They gave up a wide-open 3.
And McCormick, even though he's hardly played, has 4 fouls in this game, so that brings Azubuike back in earlier than Bill Self wanted to. Teague sizing up Brown.
Good job by Christian Brown to stay down on that hesitation shot fake.
Left hand, no. Ball is loose, and it belongs to the Jayhawks.
All 5 guys have to get on the defensive glass. Great pass.
And what a look for Brown. He's not going to miss that. His last 9 games, he's a 50% three-point shooter.
With Baylor going after the offensive glass, that put him behind in transition defense.
8-0 run, Kansas, double-digit lead. Aerial coverage is brought to you by State Farm. Talk to a State Farm agent today. Big-time NBA game tonight, and former Kansas Jayhawk Joel Embiid, who proclaimed himself to be the best basketball player in the NBA yesterday. I think Giannis will be a little fired up for the game tonight. 8:30 Eastern time on ABC. Started with a jump at 8 Eastern, also available on the ESPN app. Embiid coming off a whale of a game, 39-16 against the Nets on Thursday. He's a great player, but I would imagine that Giannis has seen the quote. No such thing as bulletin board material anymore, but I would imagine he's seen it, and that'll be a great atmosphere in a big-time game in the Eastern Conference in Milwaukee.
Is it iPad material now?
It is, yeah, it is. It is supported device material. Whatever your supported device happens to be. By the way, the Brown shot from the corner before the timeout was initially ruled a 3. They went and looked at it during the timeout, had a foot on the line, so it's down to a 2, and it's an 11-point lead.
Isaiah Moss of Kansas guarding Jared Butler, the leading scorer for Baylor and the top 5 scorer in the Big 12. And Baylor has got to get Butler going.
A lot of traffic as he tried to thread the needle on that pass.
This little floppy set that is like a diamond set. And Butler was able to choose which side he came off of on the screens. You've got to give him a direction. You can't allow him to choose which side he's going to come off of.
Jay, is there such a thing in this game as who needs it more, or are they on equal footing?
I think they both need it.
Butler, they needed that. Baylor sure did.
Butler, the inbound man, usually the most dangerous, passes it right to the corner to get the ball back.
Garrett up top again, and another finish for Azubuike.
He is such a good screen roll player because when he sets the screen, he rolls hard. If you're you have to be concerned with the ball coming off a pick and roll, and then somebody's got to pick up that roll, and that's like picking up a steamroller going downhill.
He's got 9 field goals today. Would you say at least 7 of them are dunks, Jay? Feels like it, right?
Heck yeah.
Yep. Maybe 8. Who knows?
Take a look at Azubuike here, setting a little screen, and Tristan Clark's got to pay attention to the ball, and then he's got to recover. And if you come off, if Jared Butler comes off the weak side corner shooter, it's just going to be a hook pass all the way over to the corner for an easy three. I mean, he is just dominating this game with his presence as a screen roller.
Marcus Garrett's got 6 assists already in this game.
There he goes again, rolling into the middle. Devontae Bandu's got to come off. Now Isaiah Moss is open in the opposite corner.
And this is where that four-guard line was Jamie Canoli really benefits the Jayhawks. Garrett driving off the glass, no, kept alive. And it belongs to Agbaji and the Jayhawks.
You cannot dribble around Davion Mitchell. You just can't. What an on-ball defender he is. Got the switch.
Vital now on Azubuike. Garrett with a drive. Ball's loose again. And it's out of bounds to Baylor.
Azubuike had some opportunities, and Kansas had opportunities to get him the ball. He is working so hard in this game at both ends of the floor.
You don't see big guys play 34, 35 minutes a game very often at all, and he's doing it. You can understand why he's bent over and tugging at his shorts a little bit. He's having a monster day.
Well, and it's so different than it used to be years ago because big guys didn't have to run out and set a bunch of ball screens all over the court, and they didn't have to guard ball screens like they do now. I mean, Azubuike would have preferred playing back in the day when you just ran to the low block and wrestled it.
Like I've asked you this off the air, but for the benefit of the viewers, I'll ask you only. How many ball screens did you guard in your 4 years playing the middle for Duke?
I mean, very few teams ran ball screen offense back then. And they ran motion or flex or reverse action, you name it. And nobody ran ball screens like this. And that's where these players, it's totally different. David Robinson didn't guard ball screens, didn't have to. But now these guys have to do way more than big guys had to do back in the day. So people will say, hey, you know, so-and-so was so much better back in the day. It's not true. These guys do a phenomenal job.
Agbaji behind the back, through the legs, turnaround.
Gives Devontae Bandu credit because he stayed in front of Agbaji and made him take a difficult two instead of letting him get to the basket.
Sorry, Jay, and Agbaji still scoreless. Vital touch pass, Gillespie, yes!
Well, what a pass by Vital. This is a big possession in this game. Baylor has to have a stop.
And the fans seem to sense it as well.
All the screens, the ball screens coming in the middle of the floor to open up that. Just a weed ball screen, and help has been eliminated, and they just go right to Azubuike. That was really well executed by Kansas and hard to defend.
10 field goals, 8 dunks today for Udoka Azubuike. Butler forcing and hitting.
Spectacular finish. Just spectacular.
And a timeout called by Bill Self, maybe as much to get Azubuike a breather as anything else. The big man has been a monster today, especially in the offensive end for the Jayhawks.
You go for a blocked shot. It opens things up, and anytime he sets a screen, he is rolling hard. You throw it up there, and he knows how to finish. Between the Roughnecks and the Vipers. And
well, the records when those two get together.
Walker is in line for all XFL, I think.
The all-knowing Billister. 8-point lead, Jayhawks. They're in hostile territory in Waco. If you're just joining us, it has been a monster day for Udoka Azubuike. He's played almost the entire game, and he is dominating. Garrett. Gillespie got a piece, and Gillespie got the rebound.
And they've also got numbers because Garrett went down after that shot.
Butler over the top. And standing out of bounds when he caught the pass was Teague. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 basketball fans. Here's some games coming your way on ESPN Plus. K-State and Baylor Tuesday night. TCU in Lawrence on the 4th of March in Baylor, West Virginia on the 7th of March. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big 12.
There's that middle ball screen by Azubuike. He's got Jared Butler on him now. You got to throw it up there.
Brown misses the three, and Azubuike, look at the range going for the rebound.
I think that's why Brown put that shot up, knowing that Azubuike was going to be able to go get a miss, that there was no way that Butler was going to be able to box him out.
Dotson right through the defense for the layup.
Yeah, just beautiful, turning the corner, getting past Gillespie, and then protecting the shot with the rim and using the left hand. That way Gillespie couldn't block it.
And again, it all started with the offensive rebound by Azubuike.
Now take a look at Dotson. He stays low and so explosive and quick with the ball in his hands, able to turn the corner off that ball screen. But look how he's able to use the rim. Gillespie couldn't go up and wipe that thing away, even though with that 7'5" wingspan, if he'd stayed on the right side of the basket, he would have been able to.
Mitchell with a bucket to get it back down to single digits, but Baylor's got to string together a couple of stops and scores.
Well, you have to think that Kansas is going to continue to use Azubuike in the middle of the floor, and he's getting roughed up right now by Gillespie. Don't be surprised if Gillespie doesn't pick up a foul. Gillespie's not letting him move.
And Azubuike is asking for a foul.
Well, he had to get one.
Yeah.
I mean, Gillespie had 5 or 6 different chances to stop doing it. He knew he was going to get the foul. Azubuike's got to be allowed the movement to go set a screen. You know, right now he's being sort of grabbed and all that stuff, and got arms wrapped around him. You know, that's going to get called sooner or later.
Number 3 on Gillespie.
You can do it a couple times, but not over and over again.
Nice look to Moss. And Baylor ball.
Well, that might have been the time for Isaiah Moss to shot fake and put that thing on the deck.
Vital over the top from Butler.
The only easy baskets for Baylor have been in transition.
Dotson quiets the crowd as he drives for another bucket.
What a big-time play. He went right into the chest of Mitchell and still able to finish that. Got such courage going to the basket.
Butler pulls up. And it goes! A 3 for Butler.
And we are set for a big-time finish between the number 1 and number 3 teams in the country.
Garrett slips and finds Moss. They've still got lots of time. Dotson.
He got undercut. Baylor in transition, doing such a good job of looking ahead. Jared Butler sees Vital coming from the backside, just pointing up and able to throw it right up to the rim. Abaji just let him get behind him. Azubuike saw it, but Abaji late getting down.
And now we see what we might see a fair bit of down the stretch. Azubuike at the free throw line. He has worked diligently on it, but he is still just a 43% free throw shooter this season.
What is that, just the second free throw Kansas has shot in this game?
Yeah, amazing. Missed them both.
Job by Isaiah Moss to keep him away from the screen.
Very tough shot, and Baylor fortunate to get the ball back. Nice job by Gillespie.
You got to think they're looking for Jared Butler here. There's a screen for the screener after.
And a Kansas foul on, is it Azubuike? Boy, and Scott Drew is hot under the collar again. Number 2 on Azubuike as he goes to the bench. And again, Bill Self trying to get him out of there just before immediate timeout, which is coming to the first whistle under 4 minutes.
And for Baylor, they want to attack McCormick here. I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to get a lob up to the bucket. There it is.
Mitchell misses. And a great opportunity to make it a one-possession game. And what a block at the other end by Mitchell. What hustle. Butler is fouled, and McCormick is just fouled out of the game.
Big-time defensive plays in this game by both teams. But what a block by Davion Mitchell. A basket-saving play by the guard from Baylor. Goes up, just wipes it away before it can get to the backboard. Talk about saving a bucket. That's an incredible play.
Not hanging his head after what happened at the other end. And now McCormick's out of the game. Barely played today. McCormick played 4 minutes. Fouled out of the game, and now Azubuike's got to come back in. Gillespie's open.
That's his shot. He is near automatic from 15 feet.
Ball screen, Azubuike to the bucket again. Abaji, good defense by Butler, but now he gets away from him. Left it short, and it is Baylor ball. Baylor is right back in it here at Waco. A 3-point game with 3:37 to go. Jared Butler, Jay, leading the way.
Well, Jared Butler's got 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in this basketball game. That was a huge shot he hit off the out-of-bounds underneath. And then what a play by Davion Mitchell, who's having a terrific defensive game. He's got 3 steals in that block. And then Freddie Gillespie, he's got 8 points, 5 rebounds, a couple of blocks, and you give him that free throw line jumper. He's got beautiful form and knocks it down more times than not.
Baylor hasn't lost since November. Elite play, they were game up on Kansas. Each team with 4 to go after this one. Gillespie from the elbow. Misses a shot that he normally makes.
Well, they forced him to readjust it. He had to keep from getting the ball stolen, and they just couldn't make it.
Trying to turn the corner on Vital. Going the other way, and Vital called for the foul.
Mark Vital not happy about it.
Number 4 on Vital. They called it on the floor. So it'll be 1-1.
It looked like he got called for the reach more so than the body. He had a hand on him. The call was made from behind.
We'll talk about having to lock out distractions. Shooting that free throw. Sports Center tonight after Oregon, Arizona with Nabil Kareem and Zubin Mehenti. Updates on Wilder Fury coverage after the fight. Giannis and the Bucks, Embiid and the Sixers, and the Astros are back on the field for their first spring training game. 2 big free throws for Garrett.
Garrett is a clutch player. But right now, this is about, for Baylor, they got to get to the offensive glass if they're not able to get that shot to go down. And Kansas has to have all 5 guys rebounding.
Butler driving on Azubuike. T. Vital wants somebody to come take the ball. Nobody's near him, so he says, you know what? I'm going inside myself. Azubuike may have gotten a piece of it. And we've got a held ball. The possession arrow gives it to Kansas.
Azubuike got more than a piece of it. He blocked it with the left hand. There was some body contact there. But another block for Udoka Azubuike. Now watch Vital when he's able to just go against Abaji. Kind of spins up and under. He got hit just a little bit, but that was blocked with the left hand by Azubuike.
Have you ever seen him play better than today?
He played pretty well against Dayton.
Yeah.
He had 29 points.
Yeah.
He was outstanding, and Dotson had 31. That was one of the great games of the year.
Absolutely.
And it compares very favorably to this one. This has been a fabulous game.
Azubuike 21, 16, and 3 blocks today, and has hardly left the floor.
11 seconds on the shot clock. Devon Dotson taking the ball in. And you really have to watch Dotson taking it in.
Gets it back. Blocked. Followed by Azubuike for 2 more.
Dotson refused the ball screen. They were trying to keep it to one side. And when you've got 2 guys going after a block shot, it just opens up the offensive glass for Azubuike. That might as well have been a pass.
inside, 2 minutes to play. And Butler fouled on the perimeter by Garrett.
Now, this is called refusing a ball screen. Azubuike was there to set the screen, refused it, and went to the left. 2 guys go after the block shot. They wipe it away, but Udoka Azubuike, there's nobody there to block him out.
Direction foul on Azubuike, his third, number 7 on Kansas. Bonus now for Baylor.
There's huge free throws right now for Freddie Gillespie. He shoots about 70% from the line. He's got a beautiful shooting stroke.
Again, a great story. D3 player in Minnesota comes to Baylor, transfers in, red shirts. And the Tristan Clark injury is what opened up an opportunity for Gillespie. He ran with it last year and has turned into one of the best big men in the Big 12.
Well, he's a worker. I mean, he just lives in the gym. And he's gotten better and better each year and has never given up his dream of being a big-time player, and he is that. Full court pressure right now for Baylor.
Clark coming in, and that may be in case they have to give a foul or choose to give a foul, but Azubuike on the line.
That's exactly right. They're not going to give Azubuike the ball until he's ready to dunk it in there.
Moss can't turn the corner. Shot clock inside 10. Garrett spins. Taken away. What a play by Vital.
He sat on that spin and took the ball away. What was that? There was a shot clock went off. I don't know why the horn went off, but Butler was fouled
by Dotson, number 4 on Devon Dotson.
Boy, Mark Vital did such a good job of reading the right-hand dribble by Marcus Garrett, knowing he was going to spin back. He knew he was going to spin back and then went right. Was right there to go after the ball and knock it away. That's a big-time defensive play by Mark Vital. Got all ball, knocked it away.
Ollie Rose got more.
Well, they call him Mr. 95. He's willing to do 95% of the hard, dirty work that other players don't want to. And guys, yesterday he got baptized before this big game. A lot going on for Mark Vital.
Wow. Missed the front end, and now he got a held ball. Vital was in there with Garrett. I bet you Mark Vital and Marcus Garrett have a world of respect for one another, the way each of them plays the game. Baylor's got the ball back with 1:19 to go. Kansas led by as many as 11 earlier this half.
Kansas has done a very good job with their first shot defense. A big key down the stretch is securing defensive rebounds on the road. This is an excellent offensive rebounding team, especially Gillespie and Vital.
Here comes Butler. Mitchell for 3. And Azubuike with yet another rebound. His 18th of the game. And we go into the final minute of regulation.
Here's a guy that did not want to foul.
Dotson will exercise some patience, and now Bill Self yells, go.
All right, Azubuike's not coming out to set a screen.
Oh, and Mitchell called for the foul.
Bill Self putting all the trust in Devon Dotson to go one-on-one against a great on-ball defender and Davion Mitchell. It didn't look like he tripped him. Well, he did. He just got their feet tangled up, and that's always going to go against the defense, this foot-on-foot contact.
Very good free throw shooter, 81%.
And he shoots a ton of them, just not today.
Missed it, and Gillespie's got the rebound, and Azubuike is called for the foul. Number 4 on him.
I don't think the officials were going to call that a foul until Gillespie fell down. That was a result-oriented foul. That was not a smart play by Udoka Azubuike. There's nothing to be gained there. Now, I don't think they would have called that, because that call came in late. I don't think they would have called that if not for the fact that Gillespie traveled afterwards. But it did look like a foul to me. But there's no reason for this.
Stops the clock, puts Gillespie on the line.
think they're looking to see if it's a flagrant. There's no way that's a flagrant.
And checking the clock as well. 40 seconds to go. Gillespie will head to the line. Still to come. Isaiah Livers and Michigan are taking on Purdue. Well, Purdue needs a signature victory. A win over Michigan today on their home court would be nice for the Boilermakers' chances, but Michigan with Teskey and Livers and Simpson, they got some weapons. Big free throws. 1 and 1 for Gillespie. Another missed opportunity, another rebound for Azubuike.
And Azubuike able to get rid of it before they could foul him. And that means they have to foul an 80% foul shooter. And Baylor should have been more prepared for that. Than if Azubuike got the rebound, you got to hack him right away. But he was smart to get it to Marcus Garrett right away.
And Jay Baylor's 8 for 15 at the line, and that includes multiple misses on the front end of a 1-and-1.
Yeah, in the first half there was 6 of 11 if I remember right. I mean, that was a big factor. We talked about it going into halftime. Yeah. The free throw line. It's one thing to get there, but you got to knock them down when you do. This young man, Devon Dotson, has ice water in his veins. So many times to finish games, he goes to the foul line to knock down big free throws.
Sophomore who plays like a senior. 2 huge free throws. Boy, how different it could have been. Had they been able to make more free throws, had they fouled Azubuike instead of Dotson, now all of a sudden it's 7.
And Azubuike was right there off that screen. And they picked off Devon Dotson. Azubuike came up to put a hand on it. And Butler got it right over him. That was a big-time shot by Jared Butler.
Scott Drew uses his last timeout. 4-point lead, Kansas behind. A sensational effort today from Udoka Azubuike.
Well, Baylor has done such a good job on Devon Dotson and Marcus Garrett. But that opened up some opportunities, especially in screen roll situations for Udoka Azubuike. He gets angles, and then even if you're between him and the basket, his footwork is so much improved. He is just a force, setting the side ball screen on an open side, and then rolling hard to the basket. If they throw it up there, he goes after it, and that ball hits the floor first after he dunks it through. Just a big-time performance in every way, shape, and form. 19 rebounds, 3 blocks, 23 points for Udoka Azubuike. He has been the best player on the floor and the most impactful, without question.
Has played more than 35 minutes in this game. Let's check in with Holly.
Udoka Azubuike has come such a long way, guys. One of his best games ever, but consider this. He came from Delta, Nigeria as a 12-year-old, came to Florida for a better life. His mom wanted him to go to a Christian school at Potter's Home in Florida, partly for the religion, partly for the basketball. He said, been here on his own since he was a young man, and he said, I have come so far. I'm proud of myself for what I've been able to do. He has been a resilient kid. He's showing it today.
And he should be proud of himself for what he's done on and off the court. A great performance today, but it's not over yet. 26.5, Kansas ball.
He here getting a clean inbound and a clean catch for Kansas. Mark Vital going to put pressure on the ball, trying to get a nice throw to what they did throw it over. What a bad pass by Abaji.
Butler, Vital with a reverse. Gillespie shovels it out. Teague for 3. Timeout, Kansas.
Ochai Abaji panicked a bit, trying to take the ball inbounds. He was getting great pressure from Mark Vital, and instead of just calmly calling a timeout, he tried to get the ball in and just threw a lazy pass trying to get it to Garrett. And what a terrific play after the missed shot. Loose ball, And Maceo T, what a big play to knock that shot down off the loose ball. And a great play by Gillespie to roll it to him. Bowling for dollars.
All right, Jay, let me ask you. Last time they had Azubuike way down at the other end of the court, it looks like he's staying in the game. He's back on the court right now, but they're keeping him as far away from the play because in Kansas, you don't want him being the guy getting fouled. How do you
Not
play
just
this?
that. They got to clear out. They got to clear out the space as well. They want to give their perimeter players some room to operate. But the key really is here, Abaji. I mean, he's got to make a better decision.
He will inbound it again. Vital on the ball. Abaji gets it into Dotson. Dotson finds Garrett. Garrett finds Moss. Seconds ticking away, and now the foul. Moss thought about that lob over the top to Azubuike, but decided to hold on to it and wait for the foul.
Yeah, it wasn't just waiting. He didn't want to throw it away either, because you want to try to get time to run off the clock. But right now, Isaiah Moss goes to the line as an 88% free throw shooter. But even if he makes both these, it's still a three-point game. And it opens up the question of, do you foul? And you certainly have to wait until it gets across half court if you're going to foul.
No timeouts for Baylor. Made them both.
Bill Self wants to talk it over, and I think he's going to foul. That once the ball gets across half court, you want to foul once it gets below 5 seconds. If it's below 5, even though we saw this in the Duke versus North Carolina game, where you foul up 3, extraordinary things have to happen for Baylor to be able to, if they're fouled properly and in the right time, extraordinary things to happen for them to be able to tie the game.
Big picture, Baylor undefeated in league play, a game up on Kansas. They're both on the one line. They're both great teams. The atmosphere and the game have lived up to what we hoped we would see today. And in watching these two teams in person, there's nothing to make you believe they can't be there in Atlanta at the Final Four.
Now, both these teams are Final Four national championship caliber teams. They are going to play again after this. I think they're going to play again in the Big 12 tournament, and I think there's a good chance that they wind up seeing each other in Atlanta. I mean, it's remarkable, the stat we had this morning on game day, that Kansas, Baylor, and I think you talked about it too, Kansas, Baylor, San Diego State, Gonzaga, since January 1, 52-1, and the one was Baylor and Kansas playing each other. That doesn't sound like parity to me. That sounds like 4 teams that are really good.
Yeah, and maybe secure on the one line. Gonzaga at BYU tonight, 10 o'clock ESPN2. Huge game out west. Let's see how Bill Self decides to play it with 7.9 seconds to go, up by 3.
You have to put everybody, stay up to make them go toward the ball. You have to make Baylor go toward their baseline and not catch it going toward Kansas's basket.
Bill Self just yelled to his guys, no help, no help. Doesn't want somebody helping on a driver and opening up a 3 for somebody else.
Which sounds like they're not going to foul.
Right. Buckle up, here we go. Butler to inbound.
Maybe the decision is this is such a great offensive rebounding team, you don't want to give them the opportunity to get an offensive board toward the end.
Butler, 2 seconds. Just short, and Kansas will win it here in Waco.
Boy, quite a risk to take not to foul, but because they're such a good offensive rebounding team, it sounds like that was the calculus.
Boy, what a game. Baylor suffers its first defeat since November. And Kansas moves into a tie for the top spot of the Big 12 standings with a pressure-packed 64-61 win here today.
Mitchell bringing the ball up. You know that he didn't want to be the one to shoot it. Got the switch. And just a very difficult shot under pressure. And well defended by Kansas. Bill Self deciding to rely on his defense rather than relying on fouling and playing the foul game up 3.
What a great game. What a great effort by Udoka Azubuike, in particular on the road. 23 points, a career-high 19 rebounds, 3 block shots, played 36 of the 40 minutes. and was extraordinary throughout. Heartbreak for the Baylor Bears as their 23-game winning streak comes to an end, but they are still looking like a great team, and we'll hear a lot more from the Bears going forward. Holly Rowe with Udoka Azubuike.
Doug, this was a hard game for you. You gave everything out there. How tired are you, and how hard was it?
Man, like I'm so emotional right now. Like, you know, I give it everything I got over there. You know, a lot of people, like, they look down on me. They think that I can't. Like, I've been through so much. For me to come over here, I help my team, I help my country and everything. It means a lot to me. It really means a lot to me. Glory be to God.
You gave so much to your team. When it was close down the stretch, you were getting rebounds, blocking shots. How did you show up for your team?
I had to come on, because I had, oh yeah, he can't do this, he can't do that. A lot of people, like, I had the noise. Hey, they say he can't slide his feet, he can't do that. I came over and like, yeah, I gotta do this. I gotta prove my team, I gotta prove everybody right. Like, yeah, I can really, I'm a big man, I can really move my feet, I can really play defense. You know, my teammate, they did a good job, everybody did a good job, and all glory be to God.
Thank you so much, Udoka.
Thank you.
Holly, thank you. What an effort by Azubuike, and what a big win for Kansas here in Waco today. The final, the Jayhawks 64, the Bears 61. For Jay Billis, Holly Rowe, and our crew, I'm Dan Shorman. Thanks for watching. More action coming your way to West Lafayette. Jason Benetti and Robbie Hummel take it away.